Welcome to this edition of Michael's Weekly Perspective Podcast. This is podcast episode 43. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how to run your favorite web pages directly from your desktop. That's all for this edition, and stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to this edition of Michael's Weekly Perspective Podcast. This is podcast episode 43. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how to run your favorite web page directly from your desktop. To get hold of this podcast, you can choose to call using the listener line, or you can send an email to me. The phone number for this podcast is 404-923-0115. That's 404-923-0115. You can also send an email to me. The email address is munnmichael68@gmail.com. That's munnmichael68@gmail.com. Recently, I got a job as an intern for TechVision. What TechVision do is they teach people how to use assistive technology to achieve goals that sighted people achieve daily, such as how to write in Word and create a PowerPoint slideshow. My job is to teach students how to use assistive technology, mainly JAWS, because it's my screen reader of choice and I'm very proficient at it. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a shortcut of your favorite web page so you can run it directly from your desktop. Before I show you this trick, let us pause for a promotion break.
Do you have dreams that you want to achieve but are scared to do so due to self-doubt, fear, and other people's criticism? I have just what you need. You need a dose of the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, where I interview guests that will motivate and inspire you to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. And always remember, if you believe, you can achieve.
The Living the Dream with Curveball podcast is available on your favorite podcast app.
When I started working, one thing that I noticed, every time when I work, I have to fill out this thing called the timesheet, and it is presented to me via the Google Sheet format. Well, it saves so much time when I have the sheet put into my desktop. So every time when I'm done teaching a student, I can fill that out directly from my desktop. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up a shortcut of your favorite web page and web page that you use daily. So this way, you can save some time. First, start your favorite web browser. In this case, I'm going to start Google Chrome.
Google Chrome checked 4 of 29.
Press enter.
G. New tab Google Chrome toolbar address and search bar edit.
Let's use this web page from American Council of the Blind as an example. So press Ctrl L and type in acb.org.
Ctrl L. Add period. Org.
Press enter.
Home American Council of the Blind.
To create a shortcut, first press Alt and down arrow to bring up the Google Chrome menu.
Context menu. New tab Ctrl T 1 of 9.
And then press the letter L.
More tools submenu 13 of 19. L.
Press right arrow.
More tools menu. Save page as Ctrl S 1 of 7. A.
Down arrow once to create shortcut.
Create shortcut 2 of 7. C.
Press enter.
Leaving menus. Create shortcut dialog. Shortcut name edit. Home American Council of the Blind.
In this case, you can leave the name be or you can change it. I'm just gonna change it to ACB. And then press enter.
ACB. Home American Council of the Blind. Google Chrome.
This is how you create a shortcut of your favorite web browser or a web page that you use daily. Besides that, this past week, I've also learned something from the Blind Podmaker mailing list. I have learned a best place to get podcast transition music. And the music you just heard after the promotion is one of them that I found. And I actually downloaded a zip file full of music that I can use. This entire music is created by this guy named Andre Lewis. Thank him so much for creating a best and top of the line quality for me to use for this podcast, and I hope to have him on the show one day. By the way, can you hear any difference between the microphone that I used for this podcast And the microphone that I have been using for several podcasts before this one, I have switched to a different microphone. This microphone that I'm using is called Tonor TC20 condenser mic, and it is a desktop clip-on mic. It is very clear sounding. This microphone is XLR powered, so in addition to this microphone, I also have an audio interface on my right hand called Rockville Rock Mix. This is a 2-channeled audio interface. I got this audio interface for Christmas. That's all I have to say, and this is it for this edition of Michael's Weekly Perspective Podcast.